From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
A short-term rental ordinance passed last night following hours of public comment. MTN had a reporter in the room, and we're going to break down what you need to know moving forward.
I'm Jonathan Amberian at the state capitol, where the governor's housing task force has kicked off the next phase of its work. I'll let you know what they're looking to tackle next.
Moving from the sports page to the political page, I'll tell you about a new candidate who's announced his run for Butte's chief executive.
And Prager U in school curriculum approved for teachers to use in Montana. And it has some parents concerned. We're going to break down that coming up. Alrighty, it is 6:31 on this Wednesday, hump day in Southwest Montana. Jay McDonald and Matt Elwell with you. Matt, how's your Wednesday going so far?
I was just looking at the date, and I'm shocked at how quickly we have moved through October.
It's already the 18th.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yep.
And the temperatures have really not been terrible. We've had some not so wonderful days, but the afternoons have been warming up pretty nicely for the most part. Excuse me. Our temperatures this morning in 20s and low 30s, really nothing to complain about. Frosty conditions in the middle of October, not unheard of.
No.
Daytime highs should warm up pretty nice. Hey, they lit up the stadium. I've been waiting for that all morning.
Yeah, you're going to go do some lines here pretty soon.
Is that what I'm going to do?
Yeah, I thought so.
I don't think I'm going to make it through even the 100.
I'll time ya.
Temperatures back into the mid to upper 60s as you head through the afternoon today. Pleasant conditions today. We'll talk about the changes on the way coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Now, right off the top this half hour, at Tuesday's Bozeman City Commission meeting, an ordinance banning certain short-term rentals was passed. City Commission voted to ban any future Type 3 short-term rentals, units where the owner doesn't live on site at all. Commission passed this while amending the ordinance to grandfather in current permitted short-term rental units. The original ordinance was going to ban all pre-existing short-term rentals. Many members of the community shared their thoughts on this ordinance at the meeting last night. Now we're going to have more details tonight at 5:30, and we'll have even more at 10 o'clock, so be sure to stay tuned with us for that. But in other news, housing, or lack of it, is a hot topic of discussion across Montana, and Governor Greg Gianforte's Housing Task Force met in Helena yesterday to start the next phase of its work. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Amberian explains what goals are now being set.
A number of the recommendations that Governor Gianforte's Housing Task Force came out with over the last year were turned into bills that came through this year's Montana legislative session. But leaders say that doesn't mean they're running out of options for tackling this issue.
Montana communities are still in dire need of additional housing, and those Montanans who need it need us to do our good job and good work here in the future.
The task force first met last summer. Gianforte has now extended their operations through 2025. At Tuesday's meeting, the governor touted the work they've done already, bringing forward proposals on regulatory changes, infrastructure, zoning reform, and workforce development.
Because of the work you did, Director and the rest of the team, we're really ahead of the rest of the country in reforms. But as I say, better is always possible.
Montana DEQ Director Chris Dorrington is chairing the task force. On Tuesday, he said he wants members to take a close look at housing projects around the state that have made it through the process or faced obstacles.
I think we will find themes that will come forward to the task force. We'll be able to ask a lot of questions, dig into what is missing or what did win, and carry that forward in a new set of recommendations and possibly refinement.
Some task force members said after the proposals they've already made, it might require some creative thinking to find the next set of recommendations.
I think some of the solutions now will probably be a little harder to come by. I think we kind of picked some of the low-hanging, easy fruit.
Dorrington says he's confident they'll find a lot more to do. One difference at this point is that they may have less time pressure because there's not a legislative session coming up next year. Leaders say they plan to have their report out sometime next spring. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Now, frustration over Butte's Superfund cleanup is moving a Butte resident to run for office. MTN's John Amy introduces us to a newcomer to politics who is seeking Butte's chief executive seat.
It's no accident that Bill Foley chose the abandoned Mount Con mine yard, which overlooks his old Corktown neighborhood, to announce his candidacy for Butte Silverbow Chief Executive, a move that was driven by his frustration over Butte's Superfund cleanup.
They want to dump all kinds of toxic waste from the consent decree cleanup into the Dublin Gulch. And I just think our heritage is too important to let that happen. We have to stand up and fight for our heritage and preserve our history. And history is more than just an old building that we protect. We got to protect our neighborhoods.
Foley is the first candidate to announce he's running against first-term incumbent J.P. Gallagher for chief executive. Foley said he decided to run after attending a public meeting last August with the EPA, in which he heard many residents express frustration with the slow pace of the cleanup and plans to dump contaminated soil near his old neighborhood in Uptown Butte.
We shouldn't dump near anybody's house. It shouldn't, I mean, if I can get there with the golf club in 2 strokes, it's too close to be dumping to somebody's house.
He's also against the EPA using gray dirt, or dirt that has some contaminants in it, as fill dirt in areas of the cleanup.
You wouldn't leave a little bit of contaminated dirt when you're sweeping up your kitchen floor. You wouldn't leave it in your yard. You don't want to leave it there. They need to clean that up.
Foley, who is 49 years old, has worked as a sports reporter for many years and also airs a regular podcast called The Buttecast.
For the last 25 years, I've been in the business of telling secrets, not keeping secrets. You know, I'm not very good at keeping secrets. My life's an open book, and I think the government should be an open book. I think people should know what's going on in their government, and we need to fight for that transparency.
Gallagher confirmed to KXLF that he does intend to run again, and his formal announcement is forthcoming. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Thank you very much, John. Now, there's more attention than ever on books and materials in the classroom. And now a new player in school curriculum is approved for teachers to use in Montana. Now, this national conservative nonprofit says its goal is to offer a different take on history and current events, but it has some Billings parents concerned. MTN's Jackie Coffin takes a closer look at Prager U.
From asking Christopher Columbus about slavery,
being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no?
And instructing women to be more feminine,
just try smiling and see how it affects the people around you.
Prager U is giving kids lessons in history, civics, and current events with a different spin.
As the false claims of racial targeting spread, so did the anger and violence.
And now these lessons could be taught in Montana schools.
There's definitely a political agenda attached to it.
Clementine Lindley has 2 students in Billings Public Schools right now and is one of the many parents concerned. She's heard of Prager U content before.
I think it's really important that if this is truly going to be an education tool, that whatever is being taught from that system needs to be taught, a counter perspective needs to be taught from a different system.
Despite the name Prager University, Prager U is not an accredited educational institution. It's a conservative nonprofit organization founded by Dennis Prager, a well-known right-wing talk show host.
It is a betrayal of parental trust to indoctrinate rather than teach.
But getting approval to be a curriculum option in Montana is not based on politics.
We are following the law, making sure that if a company comes to us and they've got a business practice and it's filed with the Secretary of State with a surety bond, I open the gate.
Superintendent of Public Instruction Elsie Arnson says Prager U approached Montana and was approved in August.
We know who this entity is, and we recognize that there is value.
But Arnson says the curriculum will not be automatically implemented in schools. Individual districts and school boards must make that decision independently and fund it, a move Lindley hopes will not happen in Billings.
It's really easy to get caught up in what's going on globally, nationally, and forget that locally we have a lot of things going on that we personally have lots of control over.
A textbook case of change, getting attention from one end of the political aisle to the other.
But what I do appreciate are people that are recognizing what is being taught in our classrooms. Whether they like it or not, they still have a voice.
In Billings, Jackie Coffin, MTN News.
Now, before we head into a break, another warning from FWP. With hunting seasons open for upland game birds and many migratory birds, be aware of highly pathogenic avian influenza in wild birds. Now, the virus was first detected in wild birds and domestic poultry in Montana in the spring of 22. And while it did decline in wild birds over the summer, new cases are being detected in parts of the U.S., including right here in Montana. HPAI is extremely infectious and fatal to domestic poultry and in some species of wild birds. Now, it's rare, but humans can catch bird flu viruses, usually after close contact with infected birds. There are some steps bird hunters can take to avoid exposure. Don't harvest or handle wild birds that are obviously sick or found dead. Wear disposable latex or rubber gloves when cleaning game or bird feeders, and clean game outdoors in a well-ventilated area. Now we're going to take a short break here on Montana This Morning, but when we come back, we've taken a look at how money can stay in your pockets when you go pay for groceries or online shopping, but what about at the pharmacy?
I'm John Matarese. Many of us assume that our insurance card provides the lowest prices on our prescription medicines, but that's not always the case. I'll explain why coming up.